Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Good evening and welcome into the Room to Room Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Gabe here for Mississippi Live Weather at 5. And another beautiful day across the Magnolia State, so I hope you guys did get out to enjoy it, because the forecast does start to shift heading into the next couple of days. Let's go ahead and track that out here with our headlines, and the first of those beginning with that next system. That's going to be what we're awaiting as we head into those overnight hours, and a few of us actually waking up tomorrow morning to some showers in North Mississippi. Now, as we take a look at that, moderate showers by the AM, what I just mentioned, but also carrying over into some of those afternoon hours as well. So for anybody making plans on Wednesday, unfortunately not going to be the beautiful sky that we've been seeing, not just today, but all week long, or at least so far. What we're also tracking is milder temps for Wednesday, a result of that moisture that's moving in tomorrow. So we have showers, but temperatures at least trending a little bit better. The first 12 does showcase exactly that. 53 by 6, falling off into the mid 40s by 9, and low 40s is where we sit overnight and for the start of our Wednesday morning. Of course, that limited amount of moisture in place by 6 a.m., only around 10% coverage, but that does start to climb as we get into the rest of our Wednesday forecast. So keep those umbrellas on standby, because if your day does not start with showers, at some point during your day, it will be having showers. So don't let it fool you as you head out on that morning commute. Let's get a live look out there in Alcorn County. Oh my word, that is a phenomenal sight. 59 degrees right now, and that beautiful sunset, that is, dare I say, on fire there on the horizon. A great looking sight, but still a dry atmosphere, 34 degrees, allowing for these beautiful blue skies and allowing for that great sunset that you see right there. Oh, my word, I just want to keep it on this view right there for as long as possible. But let's go ahead and get a look out there in Caledonia. Still a beautiful horizon down there as well, with those oranges and yellows showing up and of course showing out. 57 degrees, and those dew points low 30s, so still dry even down there around Lowndes County, and those areas not the only ones experiencing these dry conditions. If we jump out there onto I-22 in Sherman, roadways honestly more busy than what the skies are, and roadways aren't even that bad. As you get a look up there in the sky, a few passing cirrus clouds, but that's the extent of the moisture that we're seeing so far. On our Mama Justice Doppler radar, we're not tracking any showers in the area right now. A batch of that moisture either further towards our south or further towards our north. If we expand this out, you'll get a better visual on what exactly is taking place. And of course, we need to look both directions for those rain chances. So we're going really broad on this scale. You can see this, it's a brief system that's trying to develop that counterclockwise motion you can see right there. So that is a low pressure center that is trying to wrap around some of that moisture into Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas. And where these are headed, not at all impossible to get some of these sprinkles into central to southern Mississippi. Just watch how this has trended. And of course, that arrow basically taking it to where it could potentially go all the way into parts of potentially Attala, Winston, and Knoxville County, even around Holmes County. But that's really the extent of that northern direction that these showers are going to go. Our main system is continuing to be this cold front that's going to be further towards our north, and you can see the amount of moisture that's extending off of it, and this front is driving all of that moisture south and eventually southeast into North Mississippi. So for our future cast tonight, we're watching this front speedily moving through the Midwest and then, of course, working its way into North Mississippi for the start of our Wednesday morning. But let's go ahead and bring it back in here closer to North Mississippi, and you can see how that moisture down south is trying to make an appearance up north. We're talking 10 p.m. just outside of the Rolling Fork area with some heavier portions around Jackson. That continues to trend a little bit more north, and we could get a few sprinkles down there. Attala, Winston, Knoxville, even around Holmes, Washington, and even around Bolivar County. Not exactly impossible. So 3 a.m. on your Wednesday, that's where we're getting those first chances of rainfall. But you can see the more extensive rainfall up there around that cold front moving through Jonesboro, Arkansas, and into our start of our Wednesday. You can see how that front of rain basically moving right overhead, bringing it a little bit closer, get a better visual on those heavier downpours right along that leading edge. No severe weather is expected, but what we are going to be getting is some light to moderate rainfall. We'll look at some of those totals here in just a moment, but what you need to know for your Wednesday is it's going to start out with some isolated showers, but build in through the rest of the day with some, I'm not going to say widespread showers, but at least better chances by 9 a.m., 40%, noontime 30, still sticking around that 30% range by 3. And as we head into those late evening hours, you can see that those rain chances dissipate out and breezy and dry conditions move in. Look at the wind direction. We're talking 5 to 10 miles an hour, but by the time we get towards 6 to 9 to 10 to 12, we're talking 10 to 15 with some gusts up to 20 miles an hour. So dry air, it's going to try to move in as quickly as possible. And with that dry air comes some cold temperatures. We're going to talk more about this rainfall forecast in just a moment and see a few more of these beautiful sunsets. But we're also going to talk about is that cold air that's moving in behind this front. And of course, all of that coming up for Mississippi Live Weather at 5, live from the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax. 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Some folks in chat are talking about the forecast, and I think, let me make sure who was saying it. Fanny was saying no snow. Woohoo! Yeah, no snow in this forecast as we work into our Wednesday, and I know that's happy for some folks and disappointing for others, including my wife, so I do apologize. I'm trying my best to give you some snow in this forecast. Unfortunately, Mississippi weather just not really abiding. As you can see, 57 degrees in Ackerman, not priming that atmosphere for any winter precip, and so that's why we're experiencing only rainfall into that Wednesday forecast. Dew point still at 30 degrees, so we need that moisture to build if we're even going to see any rainfall. We do expect it to, but that's one of the limiting factors before that front does move in. 56 degrees in Macon, and shout out North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras. I don't think they're missing tonight at all. They're shooting 100% with how great these sunsets are, and we are loving every second that we get to view them here on Mississippi Live Weather. As we take a look, not just in Macon, but also in Blue Springs, getting a great shot. Shout out MDOT cameras as well, wanting to join in on the action. 57 degrees and still getting those oranges on the horizon. I mean, North Mississippi sunsets, nothing like it. And so I will love viewing that. I know that you guys are as well. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar staying clear as can be, as it has for the last 48 hours. So have you taken advantage of all this dry air? If not, you might have missed your opportunity because things do ramp up heading into your Wednesday. And the big driver in that forecast is going to be this cold front extending right across parts of Nebraska, Iowa, now Illinois, and even for parts of the lower peninsula of Michigan. Now, as we take a look at some of those rainfall totals, they're not really amounting to too much. This is over the past 2 days. And as you can see, there are some bright spots that are showing about 1/4 of an inch up to 1/2 of an inch, and that continues to be the case for parts of Nebraska. A lot of trace amounts of rainfall, so it's not exactly amounting to too much. I'm going to highlight some of those bullseyes in there, and about 0.19 inches around parts of Michigan. So again, this is not a high producer of rainfall, and so that moisture that we do see just going to result in some light rainfall accumulations. I mean, we could definitely take it out west and show you what a decent rain shower looks like as you take a look in Seattle. 2.5 inches. Oh, I'm blocking it. 2.5 inches. So there you're getting the bullseye of where the more significant rainfall is. These trace amounts of rainfall, that's what we can expect getting into our Wednesday. And there you're getting a look at the rain chance hour by hour. And as you can see, going to be calm into those overnight hours. But early on into our Wednesday, 10% chances by 6, 30% by 8, and then 40% there by 10. Gradually sticking around that 30% range into those afternoon hours. So scattered chances remain in the forecast, basically all throughout your Wednesday, or at least the part of your Wednesday where you'd want to be out and about. Our Futurecast is going to show that here in just a moment, but for your Tuesday evening, at least we're staying on the drier side. So for folks that are wanting to head out and make some plans this evening, I think that'd be a great thing to do because it's still going to be calm and it's still going to be dry. 10 p.m., a little bit of that cloud cover building into the area. That's due to those dew points starting to climb and building back that moisture in the forecast and setting the scene for those rain chances on our Wednesday. As you can see, Wednesday starts early by midnight, and some of those light showers do push into parts of Belzona, Hollandale, Chula, as well as Kosciuszko, Louisville, Macon, and Aliceville. Now, moderate rainfall, not an impossibility, but these are not going to be high rainfall accumulated totals. It's just going to be a nice little shower that we can experience overnight, and heard me say it all the time. Great sleeping weather down there south of 82. But as we work our way into our Wednesday morning, for those early risers, unfortunately, this is going to be a forecast that will want to put you right back to sleep there towards DeSoto, Tate, and Tunica County. We'll track that here in just a moment. Let's first look at those low temperatures on our Wednesday. With all of the moisture in the air, not going to allow us to cool off too much. So if this frosty morning wasn't enough for you, and yesterday's frosty morning wasn't enough for you, well, it'll be a break heading into our Wednesday before those cold temperatures do return. We're talking 40 in Amory, Tupelo, Bruce, and Water Valley, 42 around Greenwood, 41 Kosciuszko, and 40 there towards Macon. As we look at that school day forecast, temperatures not going to be as bad, but as students and teachers head out and about, grab that rain gear, umbrella in the back seat, or at least a rain jacket at the bus stop to accommodate for some of these isolated showers in the morning, and of course those scattered showers by the afternoon. Either way, we want students to stay dry and stay prepared as we get ahead of that forecast. Let's go ahead and talk about our Futurecast for our Wednesday. As you can see, I was mentioning that it's going to be a soggy start for folks up there in the northwest part of our viewing area. That's 5:30 on your Wednesday. So that's those early risers as they head off to school or head off to work. Unfortunately, not going to be the ideal forecast that you would want. And as we work our way into 7:30, you can see how that line of showers just works its way across the area from Cleveland and Sunflower County, as well as Panola, Marshall, Benton, and Tippah County. And those are going to be some light rainfall or light showers working their way through the region. I do see behind the front there is that stripe of moderate rainfall. So some brief heavy downpours, not an impossibility, but that's relatively speaking. This is not going to be heavy in the grand scheme of things. It's just heavier than that leading edge that we'll be getting as we get our Wednesday started. So by 9 a.m., getting into the Golden Triangle, as well as down there towards Holmes, Montgomery, and Webster County. And as we head through the rest of our morning, that leading edge reaching all the way south and east into Pickens County, Alabama, and Noxubee County, Mississippi. The heaviest portions of this going to be behind that leading edge, and as you can see, that extends from Prentiss County all the way south and west into LaFleur and Sunflower County. That's going to be 10:30 on your Wednesday, and that heavier stripe does gradually work its way through the region. But that's not going to be what's left of our rain chances. No, this stripe does remain in the forecast through those early afternoon hours, and then on the back side, we get some of that development to take place, and some of those reds popping up shows me brief heavy downpours, even heavier than those morning showers, can be expected with this scattered development on the back side. So that's 3 p.m. on your Wednesday, extending across Lee County into Grenada County, and as far as south and west there into the Rolling Fork area. Now, as we get into that forecast for our 4 o'clock hour, even towards 5 o'clock, that line of heavier showers does move south and east, taking the large batch of moisture with it and leaving some drier conditions on the back side. Now, one note with our forecast, and I'll talk about it here in just a moment, is those northerly winds are going to make it very breezy and clear out a lot of that moisture really quick. Now, let's go ahead and look at those rainfall totals before we get there. As you can see, 7 a.m., some limited moisture up there around DeSoto, Tunica, and Tate County. But as we work our way into that extended forecast, of course, you can see about 1/10 of an inch showing up by noontime. That's what I would say is the higher end of the spectrum, at least in this case, because it's just not going to be a heavy rain producer. I mean, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch in some spots, but I would say that's where those heavier showers will develop on the backside of that first line of showers. But as we get into those afternoon and evening hours, there we'll see that soggy forecast remain in place, but it's more so going to be a gloomy forecast than a soggy forecast because it's really just going to be mostly cloudy skies all day long and the occasional shower once that main line moves on through. High temperatures on your Wednesday, limited with how much we warm up due to the moisture being in the air. So as we'll see on the 7-day here in just a moment, whenever there's moisture, whenever there's showers, our temperatures are really just going to be limited in regards to how much they warm up or cool off because that blanket is overhead and traps that heat in the area. So that's why temperatures, they'll be starting in the low 40s, and for some spots, they won't even get out of the upper 40s, whereas other locations, low to mid 50s is expected. But either way, that's not a significant climb from where we typically expect to go with our day starting in the low 40s. But as we get into our forecast Wednesday night, I hope you're ready for the cold air because this start of this week will be unmatched compared to how it'll feel by Thursday morning. As you can see on what's happening, those northerly winds going to be very breezy. You see on the tails of those wind barbs just how elongated those are. That shows you how breezy those conditions are. And as we get into those overnight hours, of course, continue to see those breezy conditions stick around. And by the time we're getting into our Thursday morning, just going to be a cold, cold start to our Thursday. And that's for anyone heading out the door during those early morning hours, or if you're like me and you walk your wife out to the car each morning, yeah, make sure to layer up if you're doing that. I went out there with just a jacket this morning and wanted to turn right back around and put about 2 more layers on. But high pressure, either way, will dominate our area. And we'll talk more about this coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. But basically, whenever you have this high pressure positioned a little bit out a ways from where we're at, we get some stronger wind gusts, that gradient a little bit more defined, and that's why these winds get to be a little bit stronger as a result. So by the time we get into 6 a.m. on our Thursday, yes, temperatures, they're going to be cold just by themselves. 23 degrees Oxford, same thing New Albany and Booneville, 23 around Houston and 24 Columbus, Starkville, Louisville, 27 Belzona and Greenville. But then we factor in wind chill, and that knocks these back all the way into the teens with how breezy those conditions are. So temperatures, they're already cold, but of course the wind chill making it in the teens, that makes it pretty miserable. So we might sprint out to the car on Thursday morning to take my wife to the car for work, but nonetheless, it's not going to be a great start. It'll at least look good in the sky, but we can observe that from inside the house where the heat is on. Speaking of house, we'll be talking about this more as the week goes on. Prepare your pipes in advance and go ahead and bring those pets inside, or any plants that are still alive, bring those inside as well, because this will be some harsh freeze conditions that'll be in the area, and we want you guys to be prepared, and of course everyone stay safe as that cold air pushes in. But Thursday stays beautiful all day long due to that high pressure center settling in. And so at least with these cold temperatures, it's going to look amazing outside. Similar to how your Monday went, that's really what we can expect for our Thursday, just amplify those breezy conditions a little bit more. As we carry over to those Thursday evening hours, we continue to see those clear conditions remain overhead, and that'll be in place overnight and into your Friday morning as well. And we'll wrap up the work week with, again, a beautiful day across North Mississippi. So as we take a look at those high temperatures, again, not climbing too much, we still sit in the upper 30s in Tupelo, New Albany, Oxford, Holly Springs, Senatobia, and South Haven. Mid 30s for Corinth, Iuka, and Red Bay, even for parts of Booneville. But then we work our way south, and we're only talking low 40s for parts of Columbus, Starkville, Eupora, Grenada, Cleveland, Clarksdale, and Belzona. So, folks, Thursday is going to be cold. It is going to be a day where you want to layer up, have that heater going, and have ways to stay warm all throughout the day. As we take a look at that temperature forecast, of course, you can see the trend of how things have gone the past few days. And of course, it's going to be 61 today, 51 by Wednesday, 39 by Thursday. And that's pretty much where we'll sit into that extended forecast as well. I did see some folks talking about limited chances of precipitation working into your weekend. Now, models a little bit vice versa on that. And so that lowers our confidence in regards to anything that's going to verify. And the model that we trust a little bit more has a very dry pattern this weekend. So we'll keep eyes on it, but we're not exactly believing what, the social media clickbaiters are trying to put out there. So don't fall for that. Of course, we'll keep you updated if there's anything you need to know here on Mississippi Live Weather, especially when it's about weather. And as of right now, there's nothing that's concerning us right now for our weekend forecast. What's concerning us, though, is the cold. As you can see, we're going to remain in the low 20s pretty much all week long. Wednesday, our great day in the grand scheme of things, so enjoy those temperatures because they will not stick around forever. By the time we get into Thursday, cold start, cold afternoon. Friday, another cold start, and honestly, 53, not too bad. But then we get into our weekend forecast, and lows, they'll be in the low 20s. Highs, only topping out around the mid 40s. So winter, definitely leaving its mark after it took a little bit of a break last week. But what can you expect? We're in Mississippi, and that pattern always is changing. I see some folks that are talking about, is it supposed to ice over in Tupelo Saturday? No. Is it supposed to ice over Saturday night? No, it is not. As I just mentioned a moment ago, and Susan saying rain, yes, that's what we expect, and that's really just for Wednesday. Beyond that, it's a pretty dry pattern, so I think that let me see, we'll be good to go. I see James was talking about going hunting from 8 to 10 without getting soaked tomorrow in Smithville. I think that you'd be chancing it heading out, but the later in the morning you go, the more your chances climb. And so the earlier you want to go, I'd say the drier your chances are, kind of moving into the area by 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and then that line just gradually pushes on through. So, of course, go at your own risk, but I think that you may stay on the drier side. But if you want to go 6 to 8 or 7 to 9, I think that'll make your chances even higher. All right, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the latest on that weather pattern, how high pressure defines our forecast moving forward, and how cold those temperatures get. Again, breaking that down in just a moment, but it's going to be something you want to prepare for, and we'll keep you guys updated on that here at Mississippi Live Weather. Of course, make sure to download that app if you have not already done so, free and available on iOS and Android. And our next broadcast happening at 6 o'clock tonight. We cannot wait to see you guys there, talking the latest on this forecast. And coming up at 10, we're going to see the latest model runs on those rain chances. So if you're trying to decide whether you want to go hunting or if you just want to get out and about in the town, we'll have the latest on those best times to do so. And of course, what impacts to expect as well. We'll see you guys there. Have a terrific evening, and we'll see you right back here at 6 o'clock.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lopon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lopon has proven himself trustworthy.